달이 지는 새벽 나의 곁엔 네가 잠들어 있어. 작은 숨소리마저 널 깨울까 조심스러워져. 너를 더 알고 싶어. 작은 하나까지 무슨 꿈을 꾸는지 나와 함께 해줘.
Hi everybody. It's been quite a while since I've done the process of filming a video and uploading a video to YouTube. I just got back a couple of weeks ago from South Korea, which being my second trip to South Korea. But while I was away, and I was away in South Korea for 3 weeks, and then we had Thanksgiving, and so that was another week. So it's been over a month. I legitimately left the end of October, and I was in South Korea for the 3 weeks, painting and drawing for the most part. That was my main goal. And but I had uploaded or pre-prepared some videos to go up every weekend, except for last weekend, even though some of them were kind of short, and I did some shorts as well. But today is the first official time I've done a real video and uploaded to YouTube in well over a month. So it feels a little strange. So I'm going to make this a very simple video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you A, what I took to South Korea, and B, what I got in South Korea that I think you might be interested in. Not everything, or not every knick-knack, and not that I typically buy very much, but I think you might like some of the items that I got. So I want to share with that. And starting off with this beautiful bag. So this illustration is a very famous illustration. It was in color though, or it is in color when you look at the paintings that exist, and there were multiples of these. This is the symbolization or a graphic that sat behind on a giant screen behind the King of Joseon, the king of Korea. At that time it was called Joseon, or the city of Joseon, or the empire of Joseon. And the sun and the moon stand for the king and the queen, and then the mountains of Korea and their rivers and trees and that sort of thing. So that's what this design is. So I got this bag just because I've always loved that design, and I even have a couple of small prints of it because I liked it. But anyways, I couldn't resist this nice bag that I got at one of the palaces. So I started off with that. So let me just share with you some of my goodies. So I did paint and draw, and of course ultimately I'm going to share with you my full sketchbook, or the sketchbook of the new work that I did. So going in 2022 I did part of my sketchbook, and then this time I was doing more in my sketchbook. And I'm going to share that with you. I shared, if you're new to the channel, I shared the first part of that sketchbook recently, so you can go back and find that. So this is some brushes that I got. This one was just at a regular store. It was one of the first brushes. I didn't realize I was about ready to run into a whole area that was well known for shops and things and calligraphy stores and that sort of thing. And so this was the first thing that I bought when I was at a paper making place. And I think it's probably just an expensive brush. But these two brushes are handmade in Korea. And let me turn it upside down. So the shop I went into, they actually hand make some of their brushes. And these two brushes were handmade by the owners of the shop. There's 3 different plastic things to keep these hairs just so. I was told that they're horse hair, probably like from the Mongolian horses or something, one of the horses that have longer hair that you can just shear and not harm an animal. So didn't mind that too much. And I'll try to get that back on there in a bit. So both of these brushes were handmade. And then what was nice is while I was there, he even went in the back and etched my name into, hopefully you can, this thing will focus. He etched my name into the brush itself in Korean. So it's Resu, R-E-S-U. So it doesn't really make out the same in English, but it's Risu, Resu. So, yeah, I thought that was a pretty special thing to get, an official handmade brush. And this is a bamboo. So hopefully those will stay in good shape for a very long time. Then when I was in Jeonju, which is the place that I stayed at the longest, I went to a fan museum. And this was actually technically my second time in this fan museum. And last year I bought a real handmade Korean fan. And it started raining. I was outside sketching. And it started to rain. And so I went back into the museum because I was very close. And they had an opportunity to paint your own fan. And I saw that last year, but I did not try to do it last year. But I had my own watercolors with me. They actually even had a master in the shop. And if I can, I'll throw in a bit of video of that here. But if not, I'll show you later in one of my longer videos. But so I observed some of his work. And I thought, well, let me give a try this myself. So I just went in there and you got to pick out which fan you wanted. So I picked out this small handheld fan made out of wood. And then this is Korean paper. It's actually made in Korea. I think it's called Hanji? Hanji? I think it's Hanji. And I just got out my stuff. They provided stuff there. There were already some kids there that were doing some watercolors. But I sat down and did my own version of a Korean pine tree. So, which is a very curvy pine tree. And then I put beautiful tree in Korean next to it. So that was something I brought home with me. I love the experience and everything. So very, very cool and fun thing to do. And let's see, another thing that I got, if you are an artist, you love paints and that sort of thing. Now, unfortunately, this is not something that I will be able to get again until I go back to Korea, which I'm not sure when that will be. But I actually found, well, in the same calligraphy, here, I'll stop. Let me just take this out. There. Okay. In the same calligraphy shop that I bought my brushes, they had some watercolors from Japan in powder form in these bottles. And I was like, oh, wow. I don't know what they technically are. It just says made in Japan. And so I really didn't know what to choose, but I wanted to just choose a few colors that just spoke to me. And that's what I did. Let's see, can I read this? Yeah, I was trying to read them, but I'm not seeing like the normal colors that I normally know. Like in Korean, yellow is noransek, and it's not on here as that. So I will try to interpret that later. But if nothing, even if I can never get these again, I thought it was a really cool opportunity and experience to get something really unique and different from Japan. Eventually, I'd like to go to Japan, and I think I need to be prepared for going to Japan, getting a lot of art materials possibly. So we'll see. So I got that, and I thought that was a really cool opportunity. And let's see, what else do I have in my goodie bag? So I got, I think this was actually in another calligraphy shop. I just got a box of ink. So this is ink that you can use with your brushes. And technically, so what you do is you put a little bit of water on this base here once you are ready to use it, and then you rub the ink onto this plate, and it creates like a water, an ink water, or an ink that you can brush onto your paper. So that's something that I got there. But that is actually in Chinese because it's probably from China, obviously, and then of course the store being in Korean. So I got that because I've always been interested in using those types of brushes, and so that's why I've gotten these brushes. And here, this is just actually the bag that this came in, so I will put this aside. This is one of my favorite things, aside from maybe the brushes that I got. This is something that I coveted for a very long time. Comes with this beautiful little pouch, and braided ornaments are like very popular. It's like something that has its foundation in the old Joseon era, where women would wear these beautiful braided things on their outfits and stuff, but long, big ones. And so that's what this little touch is on here. But let me show you what I got. I special ordered, I went into a shop and I special ordered a stamp with my Korean name. And it basically says Reese Art. So in Asian paintings, if you've never noticed before, it's very common for them to have a red stamp on their artwork. Now, not that I will start doing this on my artwork, at least not on the front, but I was thinking I might do it on the back. But I got to pick out which stone I wanted, and this is the stone I picked. And then the guy, we discussed, you know, the style of font and everything, and that's what I ended up picking out. And so when it's printed, this is what it looks like. So again, that's Reese Art. So Risu Yersul Art. So that's what I picked. And I think it really turned out really lovely, very special, unique. So that's something I've been thinking about for a very long time. So I was very excited when I got the opportunity to finally get one of these, and having my own stamp, my own signature. And the stone's just gorgeous, I think. Really, really, really pretty. Anyways, clearly you can tell I'm pretty excited about that. And then, let's see, what else do I want to show you? Oh yes, so of course you saw the bag. I got this beautiful bag. But then I also bought some handmade paper in Korea. So this is paper that was made in Korea. So this is very thick paper too. It's really, really nice and thick and so beautiful. And I loved all these speckles in this one. I had so many choices and it was hard to actually choose what I wanted. So I chose this one, and I don't really know exactly what I'm going to do with all these, but... And then this one has all bits of threads and such in it. So I thought it was really pretty. And actually, to be honest with you, I can tell on camera that this is just not going to do it justice. Like, I think this one... Oops, things are falling. This one, maybe you can tell. But even then, I'm still not sure you can tell just how beautiful it is. It is really beautiful, and the texture is just amazing. And you can see how handmade paper has these types of rough edges like this, because they lay them on a screen and dry them and then flatten them out, iron them. Actually got to go to a place and see that process. And then I just got also a black piece of paper. Same thing, handmade. But I just thought it was beautiful. So I got a few things like that, but I couldn't get too much of this because I had to stuff it all inside my luggage. And I didn't take a very large luggage this time. I just had a luggage, a small carry-on backpack, and then my smaller backpack. And I can show you that here in a second. So let me put this aside. And I wanted to show you also what I took with me really quickly. So I brought this little pencil case, which has lots of room for different things. And so I had like a ruler and some of these paper stumps and some micron pens, and then I carried a bunch of my luminance pencils in there. But primarily, mostly I was using my watercolor, which is the M-Gram watercolor, and this is what I used the most. This is my own handmade, hand-built set, and you can tell it's quite the mess now because of the travel. This particular color, and I'm gonna have to look up which color this is, it does not travel well. I love this color so much, but every time I put it in here, no matter how long I give it to let it dry, it does not solidly dry like the rest of them. But I mean, look at these M-Gram watercolors. They are, so the binder of M-Gram is honey. And look at how it's glistening. Look how rich they are. I love these watercolors so much. And I will say that I don't know if any other color really seems to hold this kind of level of sheen, but I have not touched these up with water at all since I was at my family home in the Carolinas. So they are still glistening like they just got used. But they are beautiful, and I love this little case. You can take a larger case, but this is what I travel with. It's just a Medine watercolor set that I got off of Amazon. I've got a larger one of these, but this little guy is wonderful for travel purposes. And then I just got some extra trays, because technically this is just where you pop them in and out. But I got some small little half pans that I stuck in this middle portion here for a few additional colors that I wanted to take with me. And because I wasn't sure with it being fall, because you can tell, this pan here was filled to the brim before I left, and I used that color the most. And maybe next week I will swatch my little set for you so we go over exactly all these colors. But that's what I took primarily. And then as a backup, I took this Daniel Smith watercolor because I was afraid I might, doing more sketching this time, I was afraid I might run out of some color, and I wanted to have like a primary set backup, but it's a very small set. Then I took my small travel brushes, which is this little guy. Sorry for the sounds. Now this little guy is handy in that, you know, you can take them out and the barrel, the end fits into the barrel and you can paint with them. But especially when it gets cold out, it seems like, you know, as you may know, metal shrinks and expands, and sometimes these things will fall out. And while I still had this because they're so small and they travel really well, you don't really have a very big brush in this set. So I found this little set on Amazon and I ended up using the heck out of it, especially for the sake of this larger brush. Now it's just a cheap set, and I'll put a link down below, but it was a godsend, I feel, because they were just the right sizes. The sizes of normal brushes to do big washes, but I used them so much, and in fact I lost the tiniest brush. This brush is a great brush as well. This little filbert here. They were all very, very handy, and so because I did use them so much, I actually bought another set. I bought a backup set, mostly because I have to replace the little one that I got and that I lost. That's what they look like, brand new. So I think it's a pretty nice set as well. And it's not that you can't still take this with you. It's so small and light, great for small details if you need extra details. But together, I think this is a great combination. And so that's what I ended up using the most. And then for water, I had a little cup that I took with me, and I took my little squirt bottle. Now I will say this squirt bottle, it's okay on the go, like if you're just in a pinch. I had another bottle that I loved a lot more, that it was a squirt bottle but it held more water. But when I was abroad, there was this particular coffee shop. It's called Holly's in Korea, and they had this tiny little thermos at the coffee shop, and I'm like, that is a great size for your backpack for needing some extra water for out in the field. And so I bought this little guy. So let's see, is that it? That's pretty much the highlight of all my art stuff, my art haul and my art carrier. Oh, but one thing, let me show you the backpack that I used when I traveled around. So hold on 1 second. Another thing that I took with me was my little Osmo camera, and I use this to film my videos on. The only downside to this, even though the video quality is pretty good, is that you can't zoom in and out with it. And also sometimes it seems like certain artificial lights seem to flash, but I don't know if I have that much of that kind of problem this time. So that's what that is. And I also took this folding seat with me, and it collapsed up and came into this little case. So I carried that. That's the size of it. And then I took this tripod with me, which the tripod, just you punch it out and it expands into a large tripod that you can, I have a fitting that you could put the Osmo onto, or a piece that your phone can fit onto. So I took both of these items with me, and I would often go out in the field with these, especially the stool, because then I could sit down anywhere I wanted and just draw. Although I did get looks. And so this is what my little Osmo guy looks like. Short and sweet. So, and I've got this little case for him to protect him. So that and my phone was all I took for my purposes of filming. And then move these over. This was, it's gonna be kind of big and loud. So this was the case that I used. It's not very attractive. Maybe when I do my other video on the sketchbook, I'll try this on for you so you can see what it looks like with my sketchbook and stuff in it. But it has multiple containers. It was big enough for my sketchbook. I could wear it on my back, or I could swing it around to the front. I could put my water bottle or my camera in the stretchy thing on the side. Multiple pockets, even a pocket in the back here. So a little small pocket back here where I normally keep my hotel keys and that sort of thing. And so that, whoops, that was what I used this time around. And it's called a waterfly off of Amazon. And then last year I had gotten some doodads. It's really popular in Korea to have little doodads attached to your book bag, and that's true for an adult or a child. I mean, these cute little things, a grown man could walk by you, and I saw them, trust me. He could have a backpack with him, and he'd have a dangling cute little critter on there. So I got these last year, and then this year I got this adorable little bunny, carrot bunny girl, and she's so cute. I had to take her home, so she was beyond adorable. So that's pretty much my haul and what I took with me on my trip. So something like this is perfect. It's small enough to travel with or to take out with you on a day trip, or if you're going away for the weekend. I ended up being able to make this backpack work for all my functions, but I was still just using, like I said, my small little container of pencils and brushes, water, and watercolors. And I didn't let it get too extensive. Now, if you're just going out and you're going to have your car anywhere you go, you can take more stuff. Or you can have a combination thereof. If you're being able to get someplace with the car, you can have more stuff, more materials. But if not, something this size was perfect. And I got to do anything that I wanted to do, any place I wanted to sit down. I had the chance to do it. Oh, and that was another feature of this backpack, is that even though I technically don't like the style of the backpack, it's not very gorgeous, but very highly functional. It also had this extra little carrying area down here, so if I wanted to, I could just hook in my little seat and carry it with me on there, or I could carry it in my hand if I wanted to. So lots of options. So anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. Short and sweet. Hopefully not too long, although I always tend to ramble on. I have missed you guys so much, and I'm really anxious to see if you have any questions or hear about what you guys been up to. Have you been inspired to be working in your own sketchbooks or experimenting? I really look forward to catching up with you. So next week, we got the Christmas time coming up. I've actually just put up my little Christmas tree this weekend. So I'm kind of getting into the spirit. So maybe we'll try to do something Christmassy. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll have to think it over. So, but if you've made it this far with me into the video today, all the way to the end, tell me below, what's your favorite animal? What's your favorite animal? Like, is it a bunny or a kitty cat or dog or whatever? And that way I know that you are with me till the very end. Okay, guys, I will see you next week. I'm so glad to be back, and hopefully I'll have lots more content to come. All right, guys, you take care. Have a beautiful, blessed, and creative week ahead, and I'll see you next week.